Green. Once again, a very hearty good evening to everybody. It's been wonderful, interacting with you in last three sessions, and I'm gonna miss you once this last session is over, which is today. But then it was lovely being with you all. So today, we are going to talk about the corporate communication. Let me share my screen to present. Are you able to see my screen now?
Yes,
Cool. Okay.
Yes, we are.
Cool. So here it's the block 4 that we're going to discuss today, MMPC 007 block 4. And this includes unit 12, starting from unit 12 till unit 16. Unit 12 talks about communication for employment. Now, what does this mean? See, when most of you are already working, it is especially for those who are studying for now, right? Precisely studying and only studying. So once you're studying, you complete your studies, you go and appear for various interviews, you go and apply for jobs, you go and try your luck at various places. So communication for employment has this context. Besides that, we even if we are in a job, we are already working somewhere, we often change our jobs. In those situations also, this communication is required. Hence, this is important, right? So let's begin with it. Farida, would you be taking up now? Yeah, please keep admitting people. Yeah. Okay. There's something called resume. Now, what does it mean? Resume is something which tells people about the candidate. So in this situation, you are going to be the candidate. When you apply, when you make your own resume, you are going to be the candidate. So something, a sheet of paper, a document, a soft copy of a document, maybe that tells something about you, something about the candidate, the details about the candidate, all the facts is the resume, right? Now, what could it contain? It will contain various categories or headers or groups like educational qualifications or the kind of experience that you have gained, where all you have worked, maybe as an employee or as an intern or as a volunteer. But then all that you have done, extracurricular activities, maybe you've participated in some camps, maybe you've done some certifications or diplomas, all those things come into different headers and categories. So that is another part of it. And third, we present tabular things in it, some data, some statistics, about your own self. So all this being a part of resume. Let us have a checklist. What a good resume should contain. A good resume, what should it contain? Have a look at this checklist. The first one is you should have your present address, currently where you're living, the present address. Two, professional email, right? An email which is professional. Now, what do we mean by a professional email? I will explain it to you in coming slides. But then email ID that you have should be presentable, should be decent, should be official, right? That is important. I'll give you some examples to explain it in coming slides. Again, important achievements should be a part of your resume. So everything that you've done in life which is crucial and important and significant, which can tell more about you, which can add value to your personality, your resume, should be a part of it. Plus, proper categorization should be done of your resume, like educational qualifications, anything related to education, all your diplomas, all your courses, all your degrees, all your certifications, all sorts of education that you've accumulated through past. You should make it a part of it. Then it should be in categories. Then it should be free from errors. Any kind of errors, whether spelling mistakes or grammatical mistakes or typing errors or any kind of error should not be a part of it. We should check it and recheck it and recheck it 2 3 times so that no error remains untouched or left there. right? Then, critical information to be listed at the beginning. Anything which is crucial about the resume, about the person, should come right in the beginning. Like these days, most of us, when we write our resume, the first thing comes on top is your contact details, right? Or at times, the kind of professional skill that you have, your highlight. Either your personal details, your contact details come at the top, or your highlight, professional identity comes at the top. So suppose if you're an architect, you will write architect at the top. If you are, say, a lawyer or an advocate, or an advocate for women issues, right, that should come right at the top, plus your contact details. So these are the most crucial things, most critical things about your resume. Then comes up to date information. Anything which is redundant, which is old, which is not relevant anymore, should not be a part of it. You should keep updating your resume after every 2 3 months. 3 months, they usually say every 3 months you should update your resume. Check it if it is updated or not. Because at times suddenly you get an opportunity, suddenly you get something, and you realize that your resume is not up to date. So that has to be done. So always in say, if not every month, at least in 3 months, you should check and update your resume. Then comes clean and clear. The paper should be nice and crisp and clear and clean. It should not be an old, torn, stained paper. Yeah. And then appealing. It should be attractive. How do you make it attractive? I'll tell you in coming slides. But before that, let us talk about video resume. Now, here in the previous slide, we were talking about a hard copy of a resume or a soft copy that you send through email or WhatsApp or any other messaging service. But then video resume is something which is often used in creative fields, preferably. Now, even they are used in other fields also, but then preferably creative fields. So if you're getting into, say, radio or architecture or television or advertising, or any kind of writing, copywriting, all those things. So in all these fields, you need to tell people how creative you are. You need to expose your personality, what all qualities you have, how confident you are. Maybe you want to include some of your work which is very visual, which is audio visual in nature. Maybe all this can be a part of your video resume. I hope you are admitting people. Yeah. Okay.
Yes, I am.
Yes, yes. Okay. So, so what are the what is it that constitutes video resume? First is eliminating background distractions. Whenever you make a video resume, always keep in mind, when you are there on screen, or when there's some information present on screen, no distractions should be a part of the screen. So suppose when you're recording your video, somebody else is passing from the background, or there are some changing visuals in the background. All these things create distractions. They take away the focus from the main content. So always keep in mind, there should be no background distraction, neither in form of visuals nor in form of sound also, right? Then, use of professional language. The language that you use should be very professional and official and nice, smart language. No jargon, no slangs. Slang, those words which are not officially used, but they are usually used in day to day language. Unofficially, and they might even have some words which are not very respectful. So always avoid slang anywhere in any official communication, especially resume. Use proper voice modulation. Certainly, if you're doing a video resume, uh, whatever you're saying should be conveyed properly. The real essence of should reach the other person. Hence, it is important that you use proper voice modulation. Prepare a script. Certainly, always before recording, you should have a script in your hand. Don't go without a script, because you often go haywire. The correct words, the apt words don't come to your mind when you're not ready with the script. So always be prepared with a script. Then script should be based on the requirement of the interviewer. Yes, you should keep in mind that what is it that the interviewer or the employer needs. What is it that the qualities that they're looking for? Your resume should contain all those qualities. Now, this also applies to a hard copy resume or a soft copy resume, not only video, but any kind of resume. You should understand what is required in that job, what is the job description given about that job, and according to that you should design your resume. Obviously you don't lie, you don't say things which are not true, but then you need to find out things from your own personality, your own background, your own track record that apply or that match the requirements of the employer, the advertisement they have published. Then comes precise and short. Too long resumes are never welcome. So please be very, very short and crisp. Share with mentor and friends for review. Edit, re-edit before posting with your resume, right? Curriculum vitae or CV. Now, curriculum vitae is a bit different from resume. Usually, resumes they summarize the credentials of candidate, right? So, if there is a candidate, he might be already working somewhere, right? Or he might have an experience of that field where he is applying. Whereas CV is usually purely academic. So students who have just completed their studies, they usually talk about the curriculum, what they have done in their academics, and all that becomes a part of their CV, curriculum vitae, the qualifications, work experience, accomplishments, publications, additional information, all that, right? So that's how the two are different. Now, a checklist for CV, specific fonts are to be used. Now, what kind of fonts? I will tell you in coming slides. Candidate's name must appear on top of the corner of CV. So in a CV, your name should come at the top. Who are you? Your identity, right? Because here your professional identity is not established, and obviously contact details can come a bit later. Who are you is important. So your name comes at the top in a CV. Proper spacing and grouping should be done. Formal email ID should be given, which I will tell you later. A specific career objective should be defined there. Now, this is a very common mistake in a lot of CVs. See, when you're applying for a job, it is important that you know what is asked from you, what is demanded from you, what is the employer looking for. And accordingly, you should match your career objective. If it does not match at all, why apply, of course? But then you should also be able to express yourself well, that why your targets, your aims in your professional life match the requirements of the employer. So that has to be given there. Then use simple language, avoid jargons and slangs, as I've already mentioned, and additional information like hobbies, interest, all this can be a part of CV. Your references should certainly be given in a CV. Now, what does a reference mean? See, references are people who probably are a part of your academic, experience. Somebody who had taught you, maybe your head of the department, or anybody who's associated, who knows you very well. And in case of resume, it could be probably your boss, your superiors, your supervisor, your some kind of head who knows you well and who holds good opinions about you, preferably. Yeah. So reference the people who know you and who can authenticate your candidature, your proposals, your claims, right? So references are very, very crucial. Right. So always make such kind of relationships with people. Ask them if you could put their say contact details and name in your resume. Once they approve, use that, because in a lot of organizations they even call those people who are given as resume as reference and confirm that this, do they know this person or not, and what has been their experience with this person, whose resume is concerned. So please try and give good references. Some facts about some fonts that you should. So I told you which fonts should be used. Now these fonts should not be very, very, very artistic, very design oriented. No, these fonts cannot be used. Only those fonts which are clear, which are smart, but which can be understood very easily, which are officially acceptable. Only those fonts should be used. I'm giving you some examples like Arial, Georgia, Helvetica, Tahoma, Times New Roman, all these. These are the fonts that you should use in your CV or resume. If you want, you can note them down. I'm giving you a few seconds. Or click a photograph of the screen. These fonts are recommended for CVs and resumes. And these are internationally accepted, right? Should I go above? Next one. I also spoke about weird email IDs. I said official email ID should be given, not weird ones. Now, what are weird email IDs? Cool dude 86 at the rate AOL.com. Cool dude, please. Crazy punk master 999 at Yahoo. Anna too cute. Hotmail, Google, Rajnikant, waiting for you. All these are not acceptable. Not acceptable. They give a bad impression about your personality and your vision and your it creates a bad opinion. So please don't use these email IDs. Even if you have these email IDs, you could probably use it for your social network or your friends, but then never ever use it for official things. Interestingly, let me also mention a lot of companies these days, they also do a search, a research of your social media as well. So, how active are you on social media? How do you present your thoughts? How often do you lose your temper there? All these things. So, they actually check your social media handles as well. So, if preferably, you should not use such handles even on social media. But at least for official email IDs, please. That is complete no. Right? Now, what are good email IDs? Here I'm giving you a format of good email ID. First name, initial dot last name at the rate domain dot tld, or first name, initial last name at domain, or first name dot last name initial at domain, or first name last name initial at domain, first name at domain, last name dot first name at domain. Any of these that is available and that is that you like, that suits you, use that. But this is how it should be. Yeah, note it down or maybe click a picture. I'm going to the next one now. Now, there's something called interview portfolio. Those sectors, those areas where your work is important, and especially once you've already been in that sector, in that area, in that industry, you have an experience of that area. So what you really do is you compile all your work, or examples of your work, or samples of your work. Like if you have been a model, you can have your photographs compiled into one album. If you have been, say, a copywriter, some of your best work, maybe at best advertisements that you've created, whatever. If you've been if you're an architect, you can probably be talking about taking a compilation of your previous designs or successful projects. That is called a portfolio. So when you go for an interview, if you carry your portfolio, 90% of your work is done if you have a good portfolio, because that says so much about your profile. You don't really need to say much about it, but certainly there could be cross questions about the profile that you're presenting, your portfolio. But then it does a lot of work by itself. So make a good portfolio if you're into a creative field. What are the components of a portfolio? Commence with candidate's introduction. Your portfolio should have a small introduction about yourself, your profession, your professional background. Then comes the star formula. I hope you remember what the star formula was. If you don't remember, I will tell you in coming slides what is the star formula and how do you apply it into this thing, the resume and CV and portfolio. Candidates' achievements should come here, goals should come here. You should conclude with prominent points. Highlighters should be there in the beginning and in the end. Choose the most effective medium to design candidates' portfolio. It could be a digital portfolio shown through a laptop or a palm top. It could even be, say, an album. It could be an audio visual thing, but that's what portfolio is all about, your work. Yeah. Keep evolving candidates portfolio, which means you should keep updating your portfolio every 3 months, 4 months. You should keep updating it. New things should be kept adding. So if you're into advertising, and even if you have left your job, right, you can still keep writing some scripts and keep adding to your portfolio. Make it easy to comprehend. Your portfolio should not be very difficult to understand. It should be easy for a common man to comprehend. Now, what is this STAR formula? Situation, task, action, and result. So, when you're talking about something in your portfolio or your resume or your CV or video resume, wherever you're mentioning anything about yourself, you have to support it with real life examples, right? Which will make you stand in a good stead in the interview. When the interviewer asks you, what have you done? You can give them an example. So STAR formula talks about any situation that you have actually gone through, real life situation. What was the challenge there? What was the problem there? How did you take up the task and challenge? What did you do? What action did you take? And what was the result of the whole action, the whole exercise? STAR, situation, task, action, result, STAR formula, as simple as that. I had explained this in detail in some other reference as well. So I'm moving on. Yeah. If you want, you can again keep clicking pictures of these slides that you like or that you think are important. Okay, coming to interview. Interview is a very important part of any selection procedure. Firstly, so there are various types of interviews. Firstly, when in the initial stages, the company or the HR personnel, they want to know that person whom they're going to try in coming process. They simply screen people, and the screening is on very primary things, maybe the communication skills, maybe the work they've done, maybe how authentic they are. So screening on telephonic interview is done usually. So the first round is screening interview, right? Some lower level employee will do it, and it would either be telephonic or even face to face discussion, but that's a very short discussion, very superficial one. Then comes the personal interview, the second kind of interview, where actual interview happens. And in this interview, the interviewer asks you questions of various types. Third is behavioral interview or behavior based interview, where certain problems are given to you, certain situations are given to you, or certain tasks are given to you. And there, when you do those tasks, when you solve those problems, you're being judged for how much of teamwork capability you have, how much of problem solving ability you have, how much of creativity do you have, are you really flexible, do you have those organizational skills. So all these things are being tested through those tasks, right? Number four, task-based interviews or test. So you're probably given a sheet of paper to solve, or maybe you're given a task to do that, complete this Excel sheet, or maybe do this drawing and show it to us if you're into designing something. Yeah. So task-based interviews or tests are done, and finally, stress interviews are done in situations. So suppose if you're getting into police service, if you're getting into a detective service, or those kinds of jobs which are very testing in terms of stress and tension. Uh, so in these kind of job interviews, they put you under pressure. They ask you questions which are tricky, which will suppress your mood, which will make you a little tensed. So this kind of interviews are called stress interviews. Right? Tactics can range from constant interruptions and weird silences to challenging questions which can push the candidate over the edge. Then you have management based interviews. So in this kind of interviews, you're given some case studies or situations to solve. They could even make you interact with somebody. Like for example, if you're appearing for an HR job, they could say that this person has certain grievances against HR. You solve those, listen and solve those grievances, right? So management based interviews. Then focused interviews, interviews where complete attention is given to the job completely, whether you have those qualities or not, whether you match them or not. Focused interviews on something. And exit interviews, now this is something absolutely different. There are companies where when people are leaving jobs, they are being interviewed, why they are doing it, why they are leaving the job, why can't they stay back, would they want to come back, What were the things they liked about the company? What were the things they did not like about the company? What were the things that created problems for them? All these things are being asked during the exit interview. Now, what is the process of an interview? First, job description. What is job description? So there is a job. Whatever work is to be done in that job, what are the responsibilities, what is the role, how to perform it, how what all is expected, all that comes under job description. So firstly, job description is done, which helps us understand what kind of qualities are required in the candidate. Two, advertisement is given for the job so that people can come and apply for the job. Then screening is done. The people who are broadly they fit into that demand of the job description. They are being screened. They are being selected for the next round. Then interview is scheduled. Preliminary interview happens. Personal interview happens. Then there is a follow up. So a personal interview happens, and then follow up related to uh, are you sure you want to join it? The salary issues, the HR issues, the plans of continuing for a longer period, whatever. And then finally, hiring is done. So that's the process of interview. Now, I will give you some additional information since we've been talking about communication all this while, and I've spoken about body language in previous classes. Let me also tell you what are the things that you should always keep in mind when you talk when you're when your body language is concerned for an interview. So first is bad posture. Leaning back is lazy, arrogant. Leaning forward is aggressive. Slouching is lazy. So you should keep in mind, you should not lean back, you should not lean forward too much, you should not slouch and sit. Should sit always sit straight. Instead, experts say to aim for a neutral position, sitting tall as if a string were connected through your head and it was attached to the ceiling. Breaking eye contact. You cannot keep staring at somebody, but try to hold your interviewer's gaze here and there for 1 extra second before breaking away, especially when shaking hands. Chopping and pointing, aggressive. It seems very aggressive. Pointing fingers, right? No, you shouldn't do that. Crossed arms. So whenever you fold your arms, cross arms, it shows bad, right? It shows either defensiveness or resistance. So don't do that. You can probably keep your hands on the table or in your lap, right? Then excessive nodding your head. There are some people who keep nodding their head in left to right or up and down. Uh, a lot of people do that excessively. So that leaves a bad impression, right? Which is not good. So you shouldn't do that. You should not keep fidgeting around with coins or pen or putting your hands in your pocket. You shouldn't do that. Hands behind the back, keeping your hands in your pockets or behind your back inhibits movement and makes you appear stiff. So avoid that. Mismatched expressions should not happen. Too many expressions, no. And you're saying something, your expressions are something different, your eye contact is something else. That should not happen. Shifty eyes, looking here and there, right? That makes you unbelievable. People don't trust you. It does not show you that you're trustworthy. So and it also distracts people, right? The communication breaks in between. So eye too much of eye movement, looking here and there is not recommended. Stare. Locking eyes with someone for extended period of time can be interpreted as aggressive, and it also can be creepy. So at times, if you are a man and there is a woman sitting as an interviewer in front of you, and you just keep looking into that person's face and eyes constantly without breaking your eye contact, it might seem very creepy. Or the other way around, if you're a woman and there is a man sitting in front of you. So and otherwise also, so be careful, right? What should you do? Use your hands, keep your voice down, don't be very loud. You should be in power pose, sit straight and your shoulders stretched nicely. Don't multitask while discussing. So there are people who are writing also and saying something at the same time. Don't do that. Barriers should be removed. We know what communication barriers are. We should get rid of them. Shake hands. smile, and mirror expressions. If you remember, we had discussed mirror expressions when we were talking about body language. Mirror expressions refers to doing certain actions with with which the other person in front of you is doing. So try and do that at times, because that connects. So if the other person is smiling, you can smile. If the other person is waving, you can wave, at times. There are certain barriers to effective communication. I will just rush through it because there are a lot of case studies that have lined up in coming slides. So what are the barriers? Dissatisfaction or disinterest in job. Of course, you've come here for the job, you're applying for the job, you're being tested for the job. If you don't show your interest or satisfaction in that job, oh my God, that's not good. Inability to listen to others. So there's a difference between hearing and listening. You remember, you should be listening properly. Lack of transparency and trust. So even when you're sitting in front of them, you've applied for the job, but you don't trust them. And that shows in your expressions. Don't do that. Communication styles could be different. There could be some conflict in the workplace, right? And cultural differences or linguistic differences can also be bad. I will tell you about what these differences are in coming slides, the cultural differences. One more important thing which is now being left is group discussion. Now what is a group discussion? See, there are stages of selection procedure. So in most of the organizations, especially when you go for higher studies, not only jobs, but also for higher studies, uh, this is one important way of selection, where a group of people who have applied for a job or say uh, an educational institution, they are put together into a room. They are given a topic, or they are put in, or they are led into a discussion, talking about a certain thing, all at the same time. And there, people are being judged for their communication skills. People are judged for their teamwork spirit, their behavior with other, the organizational behavior, their patience, their arrogance and aggressiveness. All these things are being, and their abilities to sell themselves, promote themselves. All these things are being tested. So that's how group discussions become very crucial and important. So yes, uh, there are various types of group discussions. First one is topic based group discussion, where some information and topic is given, or some topic is given, and people are supposed to talk about it, share their opinions, their experience, their knowledge about it. Two, case-based group discussion. Some problem is given, a case is given, and people give their own solutions to it, their own interpretations to it, their own, their views about their case maybe. So that is a case-based group discussion. Then comes article-based group discussion. So you're given an article or a report, or say a journalist, a journal maybe, and based on that, a discussion happens. So this was unit 12. I'm now quickly moving to unit 13, which is about technology and communication. Now, this era that we're living in, I always say that we're living in ice age. It could come as a surprise to you. When I say ice age, I don't mean we are living in the ages of mammoth, right, or snow, but we're living in an age where information, communication, and entertainment, ICE, ICE is very, very important. There is a huge bombardment of information, especially with internet in our mobiles, in our hands, and and all sorts of communication happening from all the sides. You have radios, you have TV, you have internet, you have laptops, you have mobiles, and you have uh, you know even moving, commuting from one place to another is so easy these days. The means of communication have become so fast. You can cross the globe in a few hours. So yes, information, communication, and entertainment. Entertainment is such an integral part of our lives these days. So much of entertainment. We are flicking through videos and memes and what do you call them? These short videos. Uh, all these things all the time in our mobile. So entertainment. So information, communication, and entertainment. Very crucial. Look at this. one tweet, one social media campaign or something, it millions of people come on roads these days, and not only in a city, it happens in nations, it happens across the globe at times. That's the power of ICE. But before we go any further, we should also know there is an industry working for it. There's a communication industry, yeah, which includes all sorts of media, radio, TV, all that, and then telegraphs, publishing, advertising, telecommunications, motion pictures, home videos, public relations, computer databases, all sorts of information based, communication based, all these things, they come under communication industry. Now, there is something called internet and intranet. Now, all this comes from your study material, right? You can always refer to it in your study material. There are things about internet, there are things about intranet. What is internet? It is a global system. Everybody in the world is connected to it. Intranet, it is a private network, right? Like LAN, LAN, local area network, where only people of an organization or a group are connected. Two, internet is a public network. Intranet is private. Three, internet is the information is accessible to all. Anybody can access that information. While on internet, only the users of that intranet are able to access the information. In internet, large number of users are there. Intranet, restricted number of users are there. Right? It is very secure, while internet is not very secure. Internet is still not very regulated, while intranet has its rules and regulations because it has a closed group working for it. And there's a high traffic on internet, while on intranet it is limited. So these are the differences between internet and intranet. This could even be a part of your the questions in your examination, a very small question. Now, what are the other kinds of communications happening these days in media? Multimedia presentations, information and communication technology, e-commerce, healthcare, e-learning, customer connect. Then there are virtual meetings happening these days, the way we people are meeting. Teleconferences are happening over telephone. You have people connecting and discussing and having a meeting there. Video conferences happen over video calls. People are these days, and there are dedicated apps available like Skype and Google Meet and so many of them, Zoom. So video conferences can take place, and messaging tools like WhatsApp and Hype and Hike, sorry, and so many Telegram. There are so many messaging tools and services available these days. Instagram has its own message service. Yeah. Now there's something called lean media and rich media. Few more slides are left. We will then switch to the case studies. Lean media is something which has less of visuals and there is low interaction. Rich media, it means a lot of visual information and lot of interaction is happening. Very simple. Lean media has low visual and low interaction. Rich media has high amount of visual information and good amount of interaction. What is example of lean media? Letters, reports, memos, right? While email is considered and lean media. But otherwise, on a social media, if you make a small video, it will be a rich media. So here in this chart, we have given examples. Low in richness, computer printout is very low rich, right? So lean media. Written reports, a little more interactive, but then it is also a lean media. Email, lean media. Telephone becomes somewhere in between. Video conference is more of a rich medium. And then face-to-face discussion is a very rich media. Yeah. Social media management, very, very crucial these days. And there are companies working for it, marketing agencies working for it. What do you need to do to manage your social media? First, consistent connectivity with customers. Consistency is important. Two, effective management of multiple social pages. Three, effective management of customized customer relationship. Yeah, if you're an organization, you have a customer base, you need to keep connected through them with them, and you need to keep in touch with them. You need to keep passing information which is engaging to them, right? Then finally, presenting reports to stakeholders and streamlining strong team collaboration. This is all about social media management. You
Yeah.
just need to flick through it. You just need to flick through it. Yeah. And coming on to the unit number 14. Now, this is again very, very important, the cross-cultural communication. So before we understand what is cross-cultural communication, we need to understand what is culture. Now, see, culture is a very complex idea or notion because culture contains a lot of things. When you say culture of a country, what are you referring to? You are referring to the way people live, right? And when you say the way people live, everything becomes a part of it. Food becomes a part of it, language becomes a part of it, clothes become a part of it. Their ethics become a part of it, their traditions become a part of it, the kind of vision they have towards life, the kind of uh, the way they spend their leisure time becomes a part of it. Everything, right? Their belief system, their laws, their knowledge, all this becomes a part of culture. So culture is a very pervasive term. And interestingly, culture differs every few kilometers. So within India, you have almost 30 states here in India. And every state has a lot of districts and divisions. And trust me, in every area, people differ maybe a bit or more. There are different languages. The way we dress in different parts of India may differ. The way we prepare our food, the ingredients we use, uh, the belief system, a lot of things differ. But then still, as a whole, there's something that you call Indian culture. Same way it also uh, applies to each one of your countries too. Yeah. So every country, every area, every region has a culture constituted with all these factors that I mentioned just now. So culture, yes. Now, when there are two different cultures, and then they interact, or people from two different cultures interact, it is called cross culture. Before we go any further, there are some characteristic features of culture, like culture is acquired. We don't create culture as an individual. We don't create culture. I don't create culture, but I'm a part of a culture, so I acquire it from people around me, right? How do you dress, how do you cook, all that we acquire, right? It is collective. All those people in that area, in that group, they uh, they collectively form a culture. One person's beliefs, one person's dress up does not form culture. A lot of people, when they come together collectively, it becomes culture. Yeah. Value system, again, what is it that we really give importance to? What is it that we believe in? What is it that we consider good, something we consider bad? All those things, how much value we give them, is also a part of culture, right? Stability. So this persists for a certain period of time. It continues. It is not momentary, right? It is a long term thing. Differentiator. Culture differentiates. Culture of a place and the people belonging to that place or culture, they can be sought different from people from another culture. So there are differences between cultures and we can identify them. We can recognize people as per their culture. Contextual. It has a certain reference. It has a certain past. It has a certain thing related to it. And finally, common yet different. So culture binds people together, but culture is different for different groups of people. So in world, you have a lot of society, a lot of countries having different cultures. Every country within itself will have different cultures, and they in themselves will have small groups with different cultures. So yes, coming back to cross-culture communication. Cross-cultural communication is a concept that recognizes the difference, among business people of different nations, backgrounds, and ethnicities, and the importance of bridging them. So people from different culture, when they interact, it becomes cross culture. So cross cultural communication also happens in education. There are students coming from one country to another, and they are interacting, and people from different country are teaching them. Even there, cross cultural interaction or communication is happening. But more of it more of it happens when business comes into picture. So see, people from one country, one culture want to sell away their goods to other people, people in other cultures as well. Yes, but to do that, they have to interact with them. And when there are cultural differences, you have to bridge those differences. Now, these differences could be based on so many things: nationalities, or financials, or ethnicity, or language, or food, or whatever. But then you have to bridge them to connect and do your business, right? Then, with globalization, cross-culture education has become critically important to business, right? So, cross-cultural education, cross-cultural business also has become important, and it becomes important all the more with globalization. LPG. What is LPG? L stands for liberalization. P stands for privatization, and G stands for globalization. So there are organizations that become, there are economies that become liberal, and they allow other, other countries and other companies from other countries to come and invest in their country and work in their country. That is liberalization. Privatization is what? Your government does not hold all the power. They don't hold all the companies. They don't keep manufacturing, but they allow people from private sector to invest and do the business. And globalization means uh, companies from one country working in multiple countries, and people from one country, they buy from other countries, companies from other countries, they sell there, all that. So that's globalization, a lot of cross cultural interaction happening. Business people working abroad need to learn subtle differences in style and substance in order to be effective. Now this picture shows the cultural iceberg. There are some things that we can see in an iceberg. Yes, only a small portion of iceberg usually is above water level, the surface of the water. Most of the times, the icebergs are 10 times or 100 times bigger than what they are seen from the surface. Under the surface, they are much bigger, which we cannot see. The same thing applies to cultural differences: language, clothes, art, behavior. This we can see. But there are a lot of things which are a part of culture which we cannot see, like traditions, habits, values. There are certain rules and regulations in every society. Idea of how we are, how we perceive ourselves, right? All these things that we cannot see from outside. You have to actually live, you have to actually experience to understand that. Yeah, so that's called the cultural iceberg. Now we start with some case studies. So, in Japan, when you offer your business card, you have to hold it in both the hands, the way you can see in the picture. Hold it in both the hands. If you don't hold it in both the hands, it shows that you're being very casual and non serious about it. The person presenting the card will bow and present it with both the hands. Only then the other person will take it seriously. The recipient takes it with both the hands, indicating respect. Cool. While in China, giving a direct yes or no answer is not considered good. You should have a discussion, you should have your opinions. Directly saying yes or directly saying no is not considered very healthy manners or etiquettes in China. Demanding one of anyone else is considered very rude. So if you're expecting that the other person who is from China simply says yes or no directly, uh, even if you expect that, it is not good. Yeah, meetings are for talking over things, and not announcing decisions in the meeting itself. Take your time, uh, take one or two meetings, ponder over it, and then make the decision. So that's how it is in China. So once Mercedes Benz They were trying to grow in Chinese market with the brand name Benzi, Bensi, Bensi. But the sound that it made, the meaning of that sound in China was rush to die. So Chinese, the way the Mandarin, the way they pronounce their language is much different from how we pronounce our languages, the other languages, right? So when Mercedes Benz launched their car in their country in China, they named it Benzi. But the meaning of Benzi sounded like a word in China, which meant rush to die. And this was a cultural difference, linguistic, language related difference. And obviously, nobody would want to buy a car which whose name would say rush to die. Yeah, linguistic difference, cultural difference. Fiat. Now, Fiat is another company which manufactures cars, and very old company, very established company. Fiat, they released an advertisement in which a man was driving a Lancia Delta, right, from Hollywood to Tibet. So there is a man who is driving a car right from Hollywood and going to Tibet, right? So Richard Gere, who's Gere or Gere, who was Richard Gere was hired as the model for the advertisement. Now Richard Gere was not loved in China. Why? Because Richard has been supporting Dalai Lama. Who is Dalai Lama? Dalai Lama is the religious teacher, preacher, or guru of Tibet. Now, Dalai Lama is against the occupation of Tibet by China. So, when he speaks against China, and Richard Gere is friends with Dalai Lama, people of China did not like Richard Gere. So when Richard Gere was taken in that advertisement, people did not accept that advertisement or that car, the product. So it failed. Cultural differences, how deep rooted they are, imagine. Procter and Gamble. In short, here in India and I believe world over, they are known as P&G, Procter and Gamble. So they aired an advertisement in the European market, right? And the same advertisement was remade with the same way but with different artists in Japan, right? So the advertisement that they had earlier, same advertisement was remade but in Japan and presented on the television. What was there in that advertisement? So it depicted a woman taking bath. In the advertisement, a woman was shown taking bath, and while she was bathing, her husband enters the bathroom and he is helping her take bath. Now, this kind of an advertisement was very acceptable and normally taken in Europe, but in Japan, people did not like it. They thought this was outrageous. Yes, and they thought a marital relationship is a private thing. It should not be shown on television, right? So a couple should not be shown in bathroom together on television screen. It was considered indecent, and hence considering it as an invasion of privacy or inappropriate behavior, the people in Japan did not accept those products and they failed. Cultural difference, you see. Walmart. So, Walmart, when they went into Germany, they worked the way they were working in other countries. They would have big stores and they will have huge racks over there, and things were kept on those racks. And people would go around and pick up their stuff, right? But then there'll be some people, some sales people or staff of Walmart who would offer help to people, and they would uh, make things easy for people, the customers. Now, it was the same way they went to Germany also. But for 1 decade, almost 10 years, they kept working there, but they were not successful. And they were a failure to the extent that when after 10 years, Walmart decided to sell off their properties and come out of the market of Germany, leave the market of Germany. When Walmart decided that after 10 years, even to sell off their property, they were finding it difficult. That was the resistance that developed in Germany against Walmart. Why did that happen? I will tell you why. Germans don't like, or at least they aren't very used to it. What? Very friendly customer service. So Walmart was offering a very friendly customer service. People, their staff was smiling at people in Germany. They would help them. They would pick up things and give them. And this kind of behavior was taken as intrusion in personal life by Germans. Having a greeter at the entrance was unsettling. Having staff smiling at customers was strange. And some male shoppers thought female employees were flirting with them when they were helping them. So it was taken in a very different way in Germany. And hence Walmart did not work in Germany. Even in higher end German grocery stores, it's customary for shoppers to bag their own groceries. People lift their things on their own and they do their work on their own. No shoppers want somebody else touching their groceries after paying. So there are vegetables, there are things that people buy, and if somebody else touches them, German people did not like it. So there were all these things were there, which kept adding to dissatisfaction of German people against Walmart. So Walmart, they had to go out of that market. Pepsi. When Pepsi expanded their market to China, they launched with the slogan, Pepsi brings you back to life. Again, language was has been a big barrier with China because Mandarin or the Chinese language is much different from most of the languages spoken in the rest of the world. So when people go there, they often misspell things or they some glitch happens with language. So here also, when Pepsi went to China, they used certain Chinese words, which meant the meaning of those words was Pepsi brings you back to life. This is what Pepsi wanted to say. But what was the actual meaning which was conveyed? Yeah, connotation and denotation. There are different meanings of the same word, or when they are said in certain way, they mean something else. So, uh, the meaning of those words in Chinese language was Pepsi brings your ancestors back from the grave. This was the message the advertisement was conveying. And hence, people did not like it there. Obviously, a failure. Another case, Parker pen. Now, Parker is a very famous brand of pens, and not for now. They've been there for decades now, almost a century, in fact. So, when Parker pen marketed a ballpoint pen in Mexico, its ads were supposed to have read, "It won't leak in your pocket and embarrass you." Right? So Parker Pen was using a slogan in that market, which meant there are often pens which leak in your pocket and your shirts or your clothes they get dirty. So the Parker Pen company they wanted to highlight their quality the quality of their pens that they don't leak. So they used a phrase which said it won't leak in your pocket and embarrass you, but it meant something else altogether in the Mexican language, and hence it failed. Sit where you like. Now this is a longer case study. I think I should read it and explain it to you. Right? So there was a Chinese company and there was an American company. Relations have been going well, and the Chinese have been invited for a factory tour in anticipation of contract between two companies finally being signed. So there is a company which is American, there is a Chinese company, and they were in discussion about a deal. Now the Chinese company officials were invited by the American company officials to come and visit their office, their factory. So the group of Chinese representatives they go to America. Now, what happens? The evening after the tour, so Chinese have come to America, and after some discussions and meetings, the Americans host the Chinese delegation for a dinner at a local restaurant. So there is a restaurant where American team has organized a party, a dinner, and the Chinese guests have to come there and enjoy the party. Upon entering the restaurant, the head of the Chinese delegation is greeted by a junior member of the team. So when the main official of Chinese team, when he enters the restaurant, he was welcomed by a junior member of the American team. The head of the team was not standing there at the entrance. In fact, a junior member was standing there. So the Chinese team marked this. He asked where he should sit, to which he is told, sit where you like. Now, the Chinese official, he asked the junior person, where should I sit? So he was told, wherever you like, you can sit, sir. Right? So obviously, the person who says so, he said it in with a good intention. You can sit wherever you want to. But the Chinese man probably did not understand the meaning behind it. Sit wherever you like to. The next day, Chinese delegation left the USA without signing any contract. Days later, the US team received a word or a message that the Chinese felt humiliated and were reconsidering the business relationship. The Chinese team felt humiliated because of this treatment. Why? One, in Chinese culture, hierarchy is very, very important. So if a superior person is being greeted or welcomed by a junior person in the other team, they did not like it, right? Two, when he asked where should I sit, he was expecting that he would be guided to a specific chair. The chair would be pulled and he would be asked to sit in the chair, requested to sit in the chair. But then what the answer he got? The answer given to this person was sit wherever you like. He took it as an insult, and hence the deal was broken or cancelled. Look at the cultural differences and what havoc can they create. Another case study, Dutch versus British culture. So there was a Dutch national who was posted in United Nations, United Kingdom, right? So there is this man who is Dutch by nationality. He was working in his own country for a long time, and then he was transferred or he was relocated in United Nations. Now what happens? The Dutch are used to being open, frank, and honest when giving opinions. So Dutch people are very, very open about their opinions. They would directly say whatever they feel like. Okay. If you say something, it's fine for them. So whatever you say, they believe and they mean through the words directly, right? Clearly, very, very linguistically, literally, when you say something, you mean that. This is the nature of Dutch people, the culture of Dutch people. While in UK, however, the British communication culture is very different. You need to listen to much more than the words in UK. So in UK, they are very too cordial, too courteous. They don't really directly say things, especially negative things, they don't say it directly. So people say one thing but mean another. Saying something is fine. It is fine. If you say this in UK, you don't really mean it is fine. You just mean it is just okay. It is just satisfactory or fair, or maybe not even that. If you say it's fine, it means okay. It does not mean it is fine. While for Dutch people, if you say it's fine, they would understand it is fine. Yes, so there is a difference between the Dutch way of dealing people and the UK way of dealing people. Now, what happened? Among Brits, they understand what fine means. It means it's not good enough. And that changes need to be made. The Dutch national, however, took the meaning literally. Yes. So the Dutch, when people in UK they said it's fine, the Dutchman understood, he comprehended that it was actually fine. And hence there was miscommunication. And finally, in the end, the Dutch national had to leave the new job and go back to his own country. Now, how do you get rid of this miscommunication? We have taken a lot of examples, a lot of miscommunication is happening. Now, how do you reduce this miscommunication or how do you remove this miscommunication? Look at the screen. A lot of ideas are given here what to do, how to minimize the miscommunication through because of cross cultural communication, right? One, don't be judgmental. Don't just uh, get on to the conclusions as soon as you come across something. Yeah, control your biases and be flexible. So you should not have some preconceived notions in your mind. Don't be biased about people. Be a little flexible. Adapt language of the foreign culture. Whenever you go somewhere, you need to understand the language and the nuances of the language, the nitty-gritties of the language, not literal sense but the actual sense of the word or the phrases or the sentences that they use. So adapt the language, understand the language. Emphasize relationships. It is always important that you emphasize on relationships between people rather than the business completely, right? Have mutual relationship, have relationship which has a personal touch. Connect with them. Seek help from interpreters or local acquaintances. It is very important. See how major problems happened in, especially in China and other countries, just because of the language. So if you don't understand the language, have an interpreter who understands the local language very well. Yeah. Be keenly observant and listen keenly and empathetically. You should be a good listener, an empathetic listener. Empathetic means you need to you need to feel what other people are feeling. You need to understand their emotions. Be empathetic to them. Stay eager to learn. You should always be ready to learn, wanting to know, wanting to get more information and data. Equip yourself with knowledge of foreign culture. So you need to do a good study. Very interestingly, let me give you an example. When I have been working with the radio here in India, and you have embassies of different countries. So there is a British embassy, there is an American embassy. Every time the official of the embassy changes, he goes around the country in different major cities and smaller cities. He would meet people there and get himself acquainted to the culture and introduce himself to the people around. This used to happen, and people from American embassies and British embassies used to come to my show and visit me in my studios. So this is how they do it. So that has to be done. Understand the culture of the people whom you are planning to work with. Slow down your responses. Don't be in a hurry to respond, right? And assume positive intentions. This is most crucial. You should always believe that the other person in front of you is positive, is good, is trustworthy, is nice, is interested in your business, right? So when you have positive opinions about people in front of you, you automatically start behaving positively. Your body language oozes positivity, and hence that's how good communication grows, cross cultural communication, right? So keep all these things in mind. Okay, now here let's do a small activity. Design a personality sketch in your mind. A nurse for an 80-year-old patient. If you have to keep a nurse for a patient who is 80 years of age, imagine in your mind who is going to be that nurse. How is that nurse going to be? If you have a patient who is 80 years of age in your home and you want to keep a nurse for that person, imagine how that nurse is going to be. Yeah. Two, a gynecologist in a new maternity home. There is a new maternity home opening up, and there is a gynecologist coming and joining that job. Imagine that gynecologist. Sales head in an FMCG, a fast moving consumer goods company that is working in multiple countries, maybe. So a person who is a sales head of that company, who will that be? How will that person be? Imagine in your mind, create a picture. A carpenter in a furniture factory, similarly. A bus driver for a kindergarten school bus. A receptionist of a spa center. Imagine all these people one by one in your mind. Now, when I say a nurse for an 80-year-old patient, what do you see? What picture did you create? Anyone?
Someone in his or her middle ages, a bit, you know, 40 year plus
Okay.
something.
And what more?
Very patient.
Uh-huh. And
Very patient and and caring. Very caring.
yeah. And did you imagine a lady or a man?
I
Lady.
imagine a very
A
strong
lady.
lady with
A
Sorry?
lady.
ability to move the person if need to be taken care of, giving him a higher bath or taking to the toilet, changing his clothes.
Yes, yes. So, what did you imagine? A man or a lady?
I imagine the lady, a very strong lady.
Okay, okay, okay. What about the gynecologist? Anybody? Gynecologist? How did you imagine a gynecologist? A man or a woman?
I imagine a man.
A
It's based
man.
on in my based upon the here in my country. Most of the
Okay.
gynecologists are men. We have very few. It's, let's say,
All right.
two on eight are ladies. The rest of the six are
Okay.
men.
Interestingly, here in India, 99 out of 100 are going to be ladies.
Right. Okay.
Maybe 1% you might find a few male gynecologists. 99% are females. Sales head in an FMCG, man or a woman? Usually men. Yeah.
Amen.
And
Amen. Amen.
usually men, and that to a middle-aged person. Yeah, carpenter in a furniture factory. So bus driver, carpenter. You usually imagine men doing these jobs, and receptionist. You most of the times you expect a woman doing these jobs. This is how we perceive usually. Yeah. Now how stereotypically we imagine people, that it is going to be a man or it is going to be a woman or it is going to be a young person or is it going to be an old person or a middle-aged person or so many things about them, their clothing, their working, everything. We imagine, we create pictures in our minds. This is called stereotyping, right? A young cute executive assistant who dresses in short skirts might get compliments, and men may even hit on her in the office. Yes. So if there is a beautiful receptionist sitting, people, and if she is well behaved, if she's interacting with people nicely, uh, uh, people might take her lightly or they might take her in a different way. They may not respect her. They may take it as a invitation to flirt. They may assume that because she has a bubbly personality, she isn't very smart. Even that could be an opinion. These are stereotypes based on gender discrimination. And usually they are deep rooted in cultures, the belief systems. Yeah. So here in India, most of us believe that a teacher's job is more suitable for ladies, women. A gynaec's job is more suitable for women, while a waiter's job is more suitable for men. Right? And in every country, you will have such notions, same way or different. But you will have certain notions in every culture. Now, these notions are called stereotypes, and they are again a part of culture, right? So, after going through this small exercise, it is very important that we all develop a cultural intelligence. You must have heard about IQ, intelligence quotient, or EQ, the emotional quotient, right? Here I am suggesting to have a cultural intelligence quotient, CQ. It is the ability to recognize and adapt to cultural differences. We need to understand people from different places, different backgrounds are going to be different. So a person with good CQ or cultural intelligence quotient or cultural quotient would be able to accept people's differences easily and respect those differences and adapt to certain extent to those differences and invite and make others adopt some things. That's it. The flexibility of connecting in cross cultural situations is what you call the cultural intelligence. It can give you the confidence to operate successfully in wide range of settings. Yeah, CQ. Now, what is CQ? Drive, knowledge, strategy, and action. These are four keywords of it. Your interest and drive and motivation to adapt to multicultural environments. Your intention is your drive. Knowledge, how much of information and data you collect. How do you understand it? The similarities and differences. That's your knowledge. Strategy, how do you plan to use that knowledge? And your interest, your drive, knowledge and drive, how do you plan to use it? What is your strategy? And then what are the actions that you actually take? Your ability to adapt when relating and working interculturally. So, drive, knowledge, strategy, and action. And this continues. So, it is not there in a specific order or it happens only once. This keeps happening. This keeps happening continuously, right? It's a cycle in a way. So that was all about culture, the unit 14. Now we're moving on to unit 15, which is ethics in communication. Yeah. Now, before we go any further, we first need to understand what do we mean by ethics? What do you mean by ethics? Anybody? Anybody? What do you mean by ethics?
It's sort of a belief system in the how to say that is ideal based on ideas that are understood to be ideal.
Yes, yes,
Yeah.
certainly. Yes. So things
For example,
that people commonly accept as good or bad. Things that
yes,
govern the system of doing something the right way, right? Things that we value as high or low, they all constitute the ethics system. Yeah. Am I on the right track? Do we all agree?
yeah, sure, sir. Thank you.
Yeah. Right. So there are certain rules and customs that govern people's life or individuals and society and their behavior and their institutions and beliefs and rituals. They are called ethics. Right. Now, there are three major parts of ethics: your intention, the ways you do certain things, and the targets you achieve. Intent means and ends. Ends certainly come at the top of the pyramid. Means in the center part of it. While intention is the foundation. So for doing anything in this world, if your intention is right, it is the first step. Yes, if your intention is correct, if your intention is positive and righteous, half battle is won. Then it is about finding the right means of doing it, the right ways of doing it, and finally achieving the right ends. So, your intention is to spend a good life, a lavish life. Yes, For that, to earn money, there are various ways. The intention is right, living a good life. The end is money. You have to earn money. What all means do you take? Do you rob? Do you steal things? Do you take bribery? No, these are all wrong means. Hard work, acquiring better knowledge, following the best ideals in the system. They are all good means. So the right intention, right means, and then right targets. Killing somebody cannot be your target. But then, at times, to save yourself, if there is a tiger attacking you, so in saving yourself, if you somehow kill the tiger, then it is accepted at times. Yes, even in murder cases, under the judicial system, if there are murders happening during the process of saving oneself or one's near and dear ones, even those murders are not considered the top degree murders. Some leniency is, given. Some discount is offered just because the intention was something else. Yeah. So there is a word in here in Sanskrit and Hindi which is called dharma, right? And dharma is the set of rules that guide you through life. What is your role? What is your responsibility? What is your duty? Is your dharma. And there is this very famous uh, uh, pious book which is called Gita, Bhagavad Gita, which talks about dharma in detail. Um, so, uh, I don't know whether you've heard about Mahatma Gandhi or not. He said, "Means are foreseeable, ends are not." So, whatever means you take up, that you know. What end would you get is not very sure. Thus, means can be controlled and managed and guaranteed. If one takes care of the means, the end will take care of itself. Right? So, this is about dharma. I will give you an example. Freedom of speech is not a license to abuse, it is a responsibility. Yeah? Let us get on to dealing with certain cases. Now, there's something called plagiarism. Plagiarism. What is plagiarism? So in field of art, whether it is movies or music or paintings or fashion, when you copy somebody else's work or art, it is called plagiarism. Yeah, you copy somebody else's music and you make your own, compose your own music and say people that you have composed it. Plagiarism. Now look at the picture. There is one movie, the poster, and another movie poster. So the one has copied their poster from the another one. Pure plagiarism. Not ethical. You are using somebody else's idea, somebody else's creativity, somebody else's work to promote your own, to promote yourself. There was a movie called Hindi Medium here in India. It was lifted from another movie, which was a Bengali movie in 2014, made in 2014, called Ramadhanu. A movie being copied from some other movie and not declared. Yeah. Dear Zindagi was another movie. It was the replica of a Canadian comedy drama TV series, Being Erica. So Shah Rukh Khan is one very famous actor here in India, and one of his movies, which was named Dear Zindagi, was actually a copy of a Canadian drama. a TV show. Ghazni, another famous movie in India, Amir Khan was the lead actor, is a copy of Hulk. Look at the poster. Now look at this poster, Gatsby, the poster of Gatsby and the poster of Exposed. So out of the two, the upper one is Gatsby, the Great Gatsby is the original poster, and it was copied by the makers of the other movie, plagiarism. Here also they've copied the posters. Hiss has copied their poster from King Arthur. Captain Nawab copied from Call of Duty, and so many others. Here, these two posters are copied. Here, Mosam copied from Titanic, the poster. Lot of Downtown and Zindagi Na Milegi. A lot of posters copied. Yeah. So, see, I've taken examples from artistic backgrounds, right? But then business has, you work in so many sectors, and the nature keeps changing. But plagiarism or unethicality can be a part of any type of business, right? So there is something called business ethics. When you follow rules and regulations the right ways in business, uh, it is called good business practices. When you don't follow them, it is the negative or low business practices. So all these business practices are termed as business ethics. And what are they? We can probably enlist few of them, not all, of course. So good communication, responsibility, trust, reputation, following the principles, honesty, maintaining relationships, being fair in your dealings. These are all good business ethics, right? And any business should follow them. Every business should follow them. So as management people, as people from corporate industry, as business owners, we need to ensure that we follow these business ethics, because we are a part of the society. We are getting our resources from the society. Our people come from society. Our human resource comes from society. Our sole intent is to serve the society. Unless and until people in this society buy our products and services, we cannot sustain. And hence, because of this give and take dependable relationship with the society, it is important that we follow the rules of the society, which is business ethics. Companies that manufacture alcohol or cigarettes or tobacco based products, they need to understand that these are not good for health. They kill people, they give them diseases which are incurable. Business ethics, yeah. And hence, as per the legal directives from the governments and social bodies, all the packets of these substances must mention that these products are not good for health. Yeah, here in India it is compulsory. So all the cigarette packets, they will contain this information. In fact, direct advertisements of alcoholic beverages and you know cigarettes and similar stuff, tobacco stuff, is not permitted here in India. There was a campaign by Oasis. Oasis was a fruit-based drink, and they had planned a campaign which was an honest campaign. They said that our campaign is an honest campaign. Look at the posters; they're here on your screens. The first one says, "Please don't stand in front of this poster. A cost. It costs a lot of money." So this has a bit of humor also. And if there is somebody standing in front of the poster, people wouldn't be able to see the poster, and their product won't be promoted. The Oasis fruit drink won't be promoted. So please don't stand in front of it. They have made a poster out of it. Poster number two. It's summer. You are thirsty. We have got sales targets. So you are thirsty and we have our sales targets. Very direct and very candid kind of remark in the poster. Yeah, too honest. Poster number 3. Your favorite celeb would drink Oasis. We paid them. Yeah. So obviously, there are a lot of brands that hire some celebrities, pay them heavily, and make them do the advertisements, endorsing the products, drinking those products or eating those products. So Oasis here, they said your favorite celeb would drink Oasis. We can make them drink Oasis if we pay them heavily. Yeah, again another candid, but we're not paying celebrities huge amount of money. We are rather just telling you that our product is good. Now look at this advertisement. Dettol is a, a brand which makes products which are cleansing related and pro health kind of products. They made an advertisement. Hand wash and soaps are being shown here on the screen, and they made advertisement. Look at this advertisement where there is this person lying somewhere, and look at that person. It shows that there is a knife being stabbed in the chest of that person. There is blood spilled all over, and it seems that the person is dead. And there is another person standing close to screen, close to us, and his hands are all wet with blood. What does it read? When ordinary soaps won't do. What does it mean? There are instances where there are stains of blood or stains of things which cannot be cleaned. In such situations, only Dettol products will help you get it clean. Now, what is the intention? The intention is to tell people that Dettol cleans well, but what is the means? You're setting a wrong example over here. That murderers can be using Dettol to clean everything. Yeah, wrong ethicality. Now look at this advertisement. So some advertisement which talks which is a Dove advertisement. Dove is a brand that manufactures soaps and body lotions and other cosmetic products, and a few of their products claim that they whiten the skin, and they promote, in that sense they promote racism. Now look at this advertisement. There is a lady who is dark skinned, and who is wearing a brown colored t-shirt, and there is a Dove bottle kept beside her, and gradually, as she removes the t-shirt, and there is another one light colored t-shirt that she's wearing underneath that, she also turns white. How unethical, how racist. Yeah. Now look at this advertisement. Are you allowing your maid to knead atta dough by your hand? So this in this picture, the uh, the maid is kneading the dough, right? Her hands may be infected. So in the second picture, closely they show, and her nails are being shown. So they want to say that if you have a domestic help who cooks food for you at your place, may not be clean. So you should, rather than employing people who can be doubted for their cleanliness, you should actually deploy a machine which needs dough for you. Yeah. Now, again, you're spreading hatred for somebody to promote your product. Wrong ethics. Look at this picture. White is purity, is again a wrong thing to say. Brown or dark or black or any other color cannot be pure. No. In a way, you are promoting racism over here. You as in the advertisers. Not a very fair ad. Look at this advertisement, vitamin water. The name of this product itself is vitamin water. They marketed their product as something healthy compared to soda, where it was in fact filled with 8 teaspoons of sugar in a single bottle. So they were promoting it as a health drink. They named it vitamin water. Their advertisement said more muscles than Brussels, ya phir, drink at the first crack of yawn, or keep perky when you're feeling murky. All those advertisements, whatever they read. But then what's important is that they're promoting their product as a health drink, a healthy drink, while they've added heaps of sugar in their product. They have twisted some facts, they have hidden some facts, and they haven't shared all the information, and they are misguiding their users. Non ethical. Scare tactics. Now, this is a very old advertisement which says, often a bridesmaid, never a bridemaid. So there is a woman shown in this picture who often becomes a bridesmaid in weddings. Bride's friend who's there with the bride always, but she is not able to become a bride herself. Why? Because she isn't using a certain product. If you use that product, you will become popular. Another advertisement of the same product. Yeah. So there is a lady who's probably not using that product. There's another one who is in arms of the man. uh, she's probably using that product. That's how you create pictures in people's minds and associate them with people's pain and then cash your business. So there is something called value congruence. We've been talking about ethics, we've been talking about values. There's something called value congruence. What does that mean? See, there are values a company follows. Like here in India, that there is a company called Birla. They don't work in leather. They don't work in any field which is related to killing animals. They just don't work. There are companies who don't work in alcohol, any kind of alcoholic beverages. They don't step into it. There are companies of that sort, right? So every company has its ethical rules, set of rules that they follow, right? Ethical rules. While every individual also has his own rules and regulations, his own belief systems, his own ethics, list of ethics. So when you work in a company, when your rules, your ethics match those of the company, it is called the value congruence. It is the compatibility of personal values with that of the organizational values. Yes, a mixed match of both. Similarly, when your value system, your ethics do not match those of your company, it becomes a conflict of values, organization versus individual. Now, getting back to the term dharma, an individual's duty fulfilled by observance of custom or law is the dharma. Now, it changes. The basic principle of cosmic or individual existence and the conformity of one's duty and nature. How does it change? Look at this set of congruent circles. In the center, it is the Vyakti Dharma, the right conduct for an individual. That should be core. An individual should be right in his behavior, in his beliefs, the way he carries himself. And he has certain duties towards everybody, individual dharma, right? He should always speak truth. But then Grihastha Dharma, so he has his duties towards his family. So, in order to fulfill the duties towards his family, his own personal priorities should be subsided. Then samajik dharma for the blue circle, the sky blue circle. For society, you need to sacrifice your own interest and you need to sacrifice this interest of your family. This is what the Bhagavad Gita, the Dharma system says. So for society, you should sacrifice your own interest, your family's interest, but the society, the nation should come first. Rajya Dharma for the state or nation. And then the Indian value system also says that Vaishvik Kalyanam, the benefit of the whole humanity should be the topmost priority. So if there is an interest of a country which is coming as a hindrance to the humanity of the world, we need to sacrifice that interest for the benefit of the humanity. So individual dharma, family dharma, societal, national, mankind, and cosmos. Yeah. Now, there is something called negative advertisements. Now, here, my interest is to sell my product. But at what cost? Should I degrade somebody else's product? Should I badmouth somebody else's product? Negate them and thus promote my own product? Negative advertisement, again, is not a very ethical thing to do. Pepsi, take the Pepsi challenge. I took the Pepsi challenge. I pickled Coke in the Pepsi challenge. Sorry, I picked Coke in the Pepsi challenge. So here Coke is promoting their product by making fun of Pepsi's advertisement. These are some top Indian actresses, uh, movie actresses. Priyanka Chopra, now she is known world over. She's now working in Hollywood. Kareena Kapoor and Deepika Padukone. All three of them at different instances have expressed their concerns about pay disparity in the movie industry between women and men. But this persists, this exists not only in film industry or Indian film industry, it exists everywhere in the world. Almost everywhere in the world, almost all the companies. At the higher positions, they often hire men and not women. Why? Women have responsibilities towards their families and they feel that they are at risk. They may have to, they may get pregnant, they may have problems with their kids, and hence they will take more leaves. Men are paid more because women often are submissive and easygoing. And this is that pay disparity, another ethical issue that these three ladies had raised at different points of time and again, in fact. A lot of companies world over, they so when their female employees they get pregnant, they often ask them to leave jobs, which is not right. Whatever position they're holding, whether project manager, head consultant, HR, chief planner, analyst, once they get pregnant, they're labeled pregnant or mothers. And they're either given tasks which are not important, which are not, they may not be paid nicely, or they are at times even asked to leave the job, or they are given leaves without pay or with lesser pay. Take leave, sit at home, but we'll pay you only this much, right? All these things are very unethical and they're happening world over, and we need to get rid of them, raise our voices against them. Now let us come to ethical communication, the last part of our syllabus. Ethical communication is a type of communication that is predicated upon certain business values, such as being truthful, concise, and responsible with one's word and resulting in actions. Right? Keeping all these things in mind while you're doing a communication. is called an ethical communication. So what are unethical communications? We've taken already examples of these things. False product claims. Our product will whiten your skin. Our product will make you rich and whatever. Yeah, false product claims. You will get good boyfriends in your life, whatever. So you will lose weight in 2 days. False product claims. Two, hidden terms in user agreements. A lot of times they write their terms and conditions in very fine, very small fonts so that people cannot read them, or they don't even at times tell the conditions of their agreement. Unethical accounting. So the in a lot of restaurants, they bill the amount of the dish that you've ordered. They would levy certain taxes on them, and they will add certain surcharges or service charges to them, and they would also accept some kind of tip. Unethical accounting. Or in positions when people are in power, say a doctor, a lawyer, or an architect, or anybody of that sort, he or she recommending a certain brand or a product or medicine to their customers and forcing them to buy them so that they can get their cut. Unethical accounting. Poor working conditions, keeping your employees in bad conditions, not giving them proper sitting facilities and probably right breaks, or you know all those things. Poor working conditions. Sexual harassment is another very big issue world over in all sorts of companies, all sorts of business setup, and that has to be tackled well. Defamation. So, for selling your own product, you're defaming somebody else, maybe. Defamation. Trade secret misappropriation, right? So there are certain secrets every industry has, every company has, just the way there are certain secret ingredients that every company would have while preparing their eatables. Same way, every company has certain trade secrets. But then misappropriation, not in the right ratio, yeah, bribery, selling customer data. A lot of telephony companies, they acquire a lot of information. Internet based, a lot of businesses, they acquire a lot of it. They lure a lot of information from their customers, and then they sell it off to some other people to get money, to get advantage, or to get some kind of benefits from them. These are all unethical practices. Medical industry, I'm giving you some examples of ethical communication. Medical industry, for instance, doctors are required by law to not divulge private information about patients to anyone whom the patient has not consented to be privy to such private information. So one doctor sharing details of his patients with, say, some pharmaceutical company, this should not be done. Yeah. Property consultant. Ethical communication property consulting industry can take several forms, including revealing key pieces of information to would-be homeowners of property, including negative truths about the property, that this is not a very airy place, or water seepage happens through the walls and during rains, whatever. Real things should be told. Confidentiality is crucial in all professions such as teachers, researchers, publications, professionals, uh, you know, all such relationships. So confidentiality, if not maintained, is again a breach of ethical rules. Here again, I am sharing a few case studies. Volkswagen emission scandal. So once Volkswagen, they admitted, after a certain period of time, they admitted to having installed softwares. So they had certain softwares which manipulated emission readings. Every car should have a certain limited uh, amount of emission of toxic gases, the pollutants that every car releases. Now these pollutants should remain in control. So for that, Volkswagen installed certain machines in their own company that all our cars are emitting the pollutants in limited amount only. They certified it. They did certify it, but then they had tampered their own software. So their software, even when their cars were emitting a lot of pollution, did not say that the pollution was over the limits. They certified all their cars. And this was a huge mistake, a huge breach of ethicality. I'm leaving this. Another ill practice is to terminate employees who are ill. There have been campaigns world over to help HIV positive people, positive suffering from people suffering from AIDS. Once people around them, companies, superiors, when they get to know that a person is HIV positive or is suffering from AIDS, is often shown doors outside the organization, is often asked to leave the organization, yeah, or any other disease, believing that this person has now caught tuberculosis or cancer. This person may not be able to work the best, may not be able to contribute his best, so he is asked to leave the job or is terminated at times. Not a good practice. When people are fit, they work for you, they contribute to you. When they are not in good condition, when they are going through tough times, it is the company's job, their responsibility to help them, keep hold their hands in tough times and take them ahead. Should salesperson reveal weaknesses? Good salesperson, bad salesperson? At times, yes, it is important. There are a lot of issues which are being discussed in various walks of life, which may professionally be related to your field or may not be, but they're often spoken about, talked about, like capital punishment, environment versus development, right to abortion, euthanasia, nuclear energy. All these are very talked about, you know, issues, and ethicality is in their core. So I'm sure you people might have some group discussions or some research of your own and understand and develop an understanding on all these topics, have an opinion about them. So some food for thought, certainly. I end my presentation over here, and I invite you, if you have any questions, anything that you want to know, anything that you want to ask. Yeah. Anything? Anybody?
Yes, sir. Yes.
Yes. Muhammad Abdul Rahman. Yes.
I think this is the last session for this course, right?
Sorry, I didn't get you. Come again.
Is this the last session for this course
Last
as far
session
as
for
this?
communications. Yes, yes, yes. It is the last session. Yeah.
Oh, okay, okay. Firstly, thank you very much for sharing.
Oh, thank you so much. Thanks a lot. It was a pleasure.
So thank you. We are expressing our deep gratitude. My question is with regards to CV and resume. Are there
Yes.
major differences between both CV and resume?
Sorry. Come again.
What are the major what are the major differences between CV and resume?
Okay, okay. So the bottom line, the basic difference between CV and resume is that, see, resumes are often made for people who are already working in an industry or a company, while CV is primarily made keeping a student in mind, somebody who's still studying. So he has his details of curriculums being included in CV, curriculum vitae. So usually a CV is about a first timer, somebody who is applying for a first time job, or vocational thing, or some sort of an internship maybe, the first timer. While resume is usually made by people who are already working in an industry, or as an intern, as a volunteer, or maybe as an employee, and they're looking for another job, second time, third time, fourth time. So that is the bottom line. Then there could be minor differences. As I said, in a CV, you usually write your name at the top, followed by your contact details, and then the other things uh, categorized as per the importance. So probably your educational qualifications would come first, and then experience, and then projects, and all those things. While in case of resume, your professional identity comes at top. So if you're a radio jockey, it comes at the top. If you're an architect, it will come at the top. If you're a doctor, that should come at the top. If you're a gynec, you should write at the top, so that people who look at your resume get to know whom are they dealing with usually. And then obviously certainly followed by your contact details, because the main purpose of sending a CV or a resume or any of these portfolios or video resumes, the core purpose is to share details about the candidate. So your contact details should come there. So the major difference, as I said, is about the first time and this thing, and how you present, because usually resumes will have details uh, of your work experience, of the companies that you've worked with, the projects that you have done, the experiences that you have had in your life, that way. So yeah, that's the major difference. I hope I've cleared the question, the doubt.
Yes, yes, yes.
Okay.
But what the confusion I'm having is, uh, if you consider so many organizations, some
Yeah,
use some use the term CV, some use the term resume interchangeably, and they are all
yeah.
looking for an experienced person to employ.
Yeah. So when I'm looking for a fresher in my company, I would rather ask the candidates to submit their CVs. When I'm looking for experienced people, I would ask them to submit their resumes. This is the ideal state. But see, in reality, in practical world, not everybody follows the terminologies so sincerely. Yes. So these words are often used interchangeably, not necessarily that when they're saying you have to apply with a resume, they mean your CV or a resume. At times they take it lightly and they use the terms interchangeably, but in at the core there is a difference between the two. Yeah.
Oh yes, yes, I understand.
Okay. Okay. Yeah,
Yeah,
Khamis,
yeah,
you want to
yeah,
say something?
yeah, yes. I would like to really appreciate you for taking your time to explain this
Oh,
course
that's a
to us.
pleasure. Absolute
Yeah,
pleasure, Khamis.
yeah,
I've enjoyed
yes.
being with you people. Yeah.
Yeah,
Thank you so much.
I enjoy the interaction that you take your time to
Me too.
interact.
Me too.
Yeah, you discuss about plagiarism, right?
Plagiarism. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. But to me, I find it difficult to understand this plagiarism. Why I say that is because sometimes we need to copy from different sources to gather the information. That is the
Certainly.
data. Yes, from
Certainly.
different
Certainly.
research and scholars, and that is
Agree.
fine. Yes, where I have problem is when you collect such information from particular person. Why is it that it's called
Understood.
plagiarism?
Understood your point, Khamis Abdullah.
Yes,
I understood your point. See, got it. Got your point. See, this is a very, you cannot explain it in very black or white terms. The concept of plagiarism. Why? Because a lot of it remains in gray area. Kindly please mute yourself, Khamis. My
yes,
voice is echoing. Yes. So a lot of it comes under gray area. Why? Because see, now I showed you a lot of pictures of movie posters and paintings. Now, taking inspiration from something, getting an idea from something is one thing, while copying it from somebody else is another thing. Now, the difference lies in the degree or the amount of copy you do, right? You could probably be copying one line from a song and then making another song out of it. That could be inspiration. But if you're copying 50% of the song and rest 50% you are contributing yourself, a major chunk comes from the original, then let us say it is plagiarism. But again, it remains in gray areas, and that's the reason people a lot of times are not able to sue legal cases against the other parties, just because you cannot explain it in black or white whether it is right or wrong. Yeah, that way. That's the reason.
All
So
right.
it is up to our understanding, it is up to our ethical standards and our beliefs, our purity at the bottom level that matters. Nobody else can
I
really.
want to
All right.
Yes, Issa.
And
um thank you, sir, for the wonderful lecture, for the wonderful classes. We really enjoyed. I want to add a
Thank you,
little
Issa. Thank
to
you.
what Kamis asked. Let me briefly say something about plagiarism in the context of educational sectors.
Oh,
At
yes,
times,
please.
when you copy someone's, maybe a word or a sentence from someone's work, once you make citation or acknowledge that person, it's no longer a plagiarism, because
Yes,
you've
very true.
acknowledged and
Very
you're
true.
telling the world that this is not actually yours by making the
Agreed.
citation or acknowledging that person. That it's no longer
That's a
a
very
plagiarism.
valid point.
So for you not
That's
to
a very valid point.
for you not to do plagiarism in someone's work, you are to acknowledge or make citations. This is another contribution toward plagiarism. Mama,
Absolutely.
Mama.
Absolutely.
thank
Absolutely. You're absolutely right, Lisa. So till the time you are,
Very well.
you're mentioning that it has been taken from somebody else, uh, uh, it can be acceptable to a certain extent. Yes. Mentioning the source of information, mentioning that it has been taken from somewhere.
Please,
Uh,
are you raising hand?
yes, yes. Khamis Muhammad Abdullah is again raising hand. Yes, Khamis?
Yes, thank you very much for the opportunity. What I wanted to like elaborate or ask uh, you in the presentation about this TV, which you said we need to write based on the company objective. You are writing TV, right? Is that
No,
correct?
I didn't get you. I didn't get you. I did not understand. Yeah.
Like when writing the CV, you made mention that we need to write order to be align with the company objective that we are seeking the
Oh, yes.
employment. Yes. So,
Yes, yes, I did.
does that mean that each and every position that we are applying to, we have to rewrite the CV to align with such company objective?
See, primarily, Khamis, when you're applying for a job, you would apply for a job which matches your skill set, your experience, your area of expertise, right? Usually, this happens that we apply for a job which is related to our core area, our expertise. Yes. Now, so when there is a job description, when there is a company inviting people to apply for a job, they uh, they have certain requirements being laid, and when you have expertise in that job, in that task, you obviously do have those qualities in you, so it automatically matches. So when you're writing your goals, it should be such that you express what qualities you have and what are the targets that you aim, that you want to achieve, and that would automatically be in sync with the company. But then in situations where you do not possess those skills but you still want to try your luck, there you might be hiding certain things or fabricating certain uh, things and saying that you want to fit into that job. Yes. So there you may have to uh, you know twist the facts a bit, but which is not very right, because in long run that will only hamper your comfort levels, your image, your productivity, your efficiency, because you may not be the best you may not be the best in that task, but you still have taken it by twisting facts. So certainly, yeah. Thank you so much. Anybody else? No. Okay, so
Yes, sir. Hello, Vasant here.
yes,
Thank you
Vasant.
very
Yes,
much for
yes.
the
I
sessions.
would have, I would have missed if you hadn't said something, Vasant.
All right.
Please.
I was just waiting for this to finish. That's it. So thank you very much. It's been really like enlightening, educational. We've learned so many things from you. We probably there are things that we learned before, but they were again like rejuvenated
Oh,
with
so
your
sweet of
lectures.
you, Vasant.
So thank
And
you very much.
finding my Indian connection with you was another high for me during these sessions. Thank you
Yeah.
so much for being with me and bearing
Yeah.
me. I would have certainly made a lot of mistakes in it, but then the way you people have been so supportive through these sessions, it was
Yeah,
wonderful. Thank you so
it's
much,
been it's been a
and I
pleasure,
look
sir. Thank you very
forward
much,
to.
and good luck for your next counseling sessions. We wish you well,
Thank you so much,
keep
man.
well, and
Thanks a lot.
take care, sir.
And all my best wishes to each one of you.
So,
May you be successful in all your endeavors in life. And if possible, stay connected. Thank you so much. Thanks a lot. Lovely. Thank you. Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
may I take, opportunity to thank Rupak and all of you. So I hope the academic counseling is going on very well. Right now the attendance is very low. So what do you think, dear learners? What do you think? How's this going? Is it going okay? So I was listening to your classes side by side doing my work. So I want to thank Mr. Rupak Khare for very nice presentations, and he tries to explain things in very simple manner through his different examples. So thank you very much, Rupak, for the excellent presentations. Um, we'll be in touch, and if some of the learners or any of the learners is having any doubt, they can write to us or write to Rupak. I'll provide his email ID if you require. Isn't it, Rupak ji?
Oh, yes, for sure. Anytime. Anytime. My email ID is
I hope that all of you have.
rjroopak@gmail.com.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I hope you all of you have started looking for your assignment, writing your assignments. Um,
Are they visible now on the portal?
it's not on the portal. You were Grace. You last time I think you said that you're not able to enter into the portal.
Yes.
Right now, are you able to enter or not?
We have been checking on the portal, but up to now, I think we haven't seen anything yet.
Okay. Today I'm going to take it to the faculty and let you know. And for Rupak, I
Thank
would
you.
say thank you very much, Rupak ji. Um,
Thank you
so
so much, Smriti ji, for making me a part of this whole plan. It's very prestigious, and
yes.
I feel proud being of any help if possible to any of you. Anytime. I've already shared my email ID. It's rjroopak@gmail.com. Madam will
Okay.
share it separately also.
Great.
Keep in touch. Thank you so
Yeah.
much. Thank you, Smriti ji. Thanks a lot.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you,
So
Rupak ji. So I'll
Thank
just
you,
have
sir. Take care.
2 minutes chats with my learners and then I'll leave. You can, if you want, you can leave, Rupak.
that's okay. Should I stop the recording?
No, it may go on. Going
It
on.
can go on. All right. With your permission, guys, I'd
Thank
leave.
you.
Thank you so
Thank
much once
you.
again. Take
Okay,
care.
sir.
Bye
Bye.
Thank
bye.
Take care.
you.
Thank you, sir.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Yes. Actually, yeah. There are two issues. I think one is some of the learners are not able to, even now they are not able to, go on LMS. Is it true? or all of you are there?
I think most of us are able to access the management
The
system.
assignments are not there. Still, still assignments are not there.
No, not
Okay.
not yet.
Okay, I'll resolve this today. Okay, or I'll provide you through email. But I'll provide by tomorrow. I'll provide.
Thank you,
Thank
thank you,
you.
ma'am.
Thank you so much.
And
Yeah.
any other
Thank
issue?
you, ma'am.
Is there any other issue apart from this recordings? You need recording. There was some technical hitches. I've gone through all those things and through YouTube channel. So by tomorrow I'll share the recordings also.
Okay, ma'am.
Okay.
Okay, Doctor.
So
Okay.
okay, because some of the learners are not having proper internet, so they can watch the recordings later on whenever they get good signals or
Good.
connections.
Good. Thank you
Okay.
so much.
Okay. So we can now conclude this today's academic counseling. We'll have continuously counseling from Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. So I'll provide you link by tomorrow. Tomorrow morning I'll provide. Okay.
Okay,
Thank
ma'am.
Okay,
you.
ma'am. Thank you.
Okay. So thank you. Good evening. Good night. Here it is
Thank you
Thank
very
you.
time.
much.
Good night.
Rest
Thank
well,
you. Good
everyone.
night.
Thank you. Good
Thank
night.
you. Good night.
We are grateful for your input.
Oh, thank you. You are the best class.